You're listening to The Moving Project.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Moving Project. My name is Sonia. I am a third-year student here at the University of Ottawa, and I am here today with both of my colleagues, Gina and Rasha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gina. I'm also a third-year law student at University of Ottawa. Thank you for having me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rasha, and I'm a second-year student at the University of Ottawa.
Thank you, girls. So we have the chance this year to actually be doing an internship with school, and we have the chance to be with Maître Michael Charette. So Mr. Charette actually graduated from the University of Ottawa too in summa cum laude in civil law. That's actually very good. And then he did his Juris Doctor at the University of Victoria and then a master's in Hong Kong. So Ms. Charette, thank you for having us and doing this project with us. It is truly an honor. Could you explain to us quickly what's the context of this podcast?
The Moving Project, the initial idea was to create a podcast in collaboration with you as an academic project, but also in order to bring a podcast that will promote, explain, demystify the different aspects of immigrations to Canada. And I'm very happy to do it because you are beautiful representations of what immigration can be for Canada. The three of you are all second generation of immigrants to Canada. And now you're in law school, and I'm very proud to be working with Ottawa U as an alumni. I was in Ottawa U 20 years ago, so it's been a long time for me. And I'm very happy to be able to get this project going with you. It's something that I cherish for 3 months at least, and I'm happy to launch it today.
Thank you very much. It was so interesting. This was one of the biggest projects that we university students had the chance to partake in. And what was the initial idea? Where did this idea come from?
Well, in a commercial aspect of the profession, sometimes we need to think about who do we want to talk to. And the goal of the first season of the podcast is to talk to potential entrepreneur immigrants around the world. And the target is the 25, 35, 25, 40 years old candidate. And I thought podcast is something that is very popular with this segment of the society, the segment of the populations around the world. And I want to get on that wave and surf it and be able to talk to the potential client that I can recruit around the world.
Thank you. That's a very great idea. But why this format? Why a podcast?
Well, I think there's an easy way to transmit information and to demystify, as I mentioned earlier. Take certain segments and people can actually choose what they're interested in. The fact that it's audio can be listened everywhere. Someone could go through 5 or 6 episodes in order to know which province would be good. As you will see through this podcast, we will go through different provinces, different programs. There's dozens of programs on immigrations to Canada. It's a complex world to be able to know which program can be good for me. So someone could easily go to her different platform of podcasts and say, okay, I want to hear about this province, or I want to hear about this programs. And we will be able to easily make a searchable sets of information and demystification. So podcast is a very good way to present it.
I have to say that I really agree with what you just said. For one, I listen to podcasts like almost every day when I do my makeup, or even when I used to drive to school. I learned like the whole history of a whole continent because of that. So I think that, for the listeners that are listening to us, I think it's a great way to learn about the immigration programs in Canada.
The good old way of like going for a run and listen to few information. So you keep your mind and your body in good health with podcasts. And I think that's why podcasts became so popular as well. I totally agree with you. This is a good way to do it. And I love to listen to podcasts when I take my walk in the morning now. It become part of my routine. So I really believe it's a good medium and people can benefit from this. And hopefully we can help people to find information that they find useful.
Great. Speaking of listeners, who is your target audience? Like, who are the clients? I know that you mentioned briefly, like, your clients, but what other people would you want to use this podcast to attract to?
I think, thank you, Gina. I think the first aspect of this podcast, and maybe what we can mention, is the first season, we've been focusing on the entrepreneur programs across Canada. This is my expertise. I've been doing business immigration for almost 20 years now. And the goal is to make a seasons about the different provinces and the different programs. And that starts with knowing who qualify for those programs. So a few years ago, I approached doing business and promoting immigration programs, not only on offering all the services, but on saying, let's find the right applicants for the programs available. So I reverse engineer. I don't say I'm an immigration lawyer at large. I say, I have products that I believe are a very good fit for my expertise. And where can I find those clients? Where can I find those applicants that fits this program? So I almost see myself a little bit, and that's a little bit pretentious to say, but the same role that the Canadian government has in a policy making of attracting the right people for the right reasons. Why do we do immigrations? Well, to improve certain segment of the population that is needed, to improve certain aspect of the economic growth. So I say, those are the objectives of those programs. Where is those people? Where is those people located? I'll give you a really good example. Quebec is trying to recruit French-speaking people. We will have a version of this podcast that will be in French, and that will be targeting, for example, North Africa, where you have a great community of Boston entrepreneurs that are willing to immigrate to Canada, start their real business, and comes to Quebec to settle with their family. This is what I'm hoping to do. Create content that will speak to the right people for the right programs. And then by separating the different programs, that doing a series that address different programs, we're going to be able to talk to the right people. Entrepreneurs for this seasons, my target audience is 25, 35 years old. Business people. We will be able to promote those podcasts on the different platform that those people are using. For example, Facebook Business Market series that we could promote there. So the medium of using podcasts will allow me to have a continuous mindset towards the right people.
As you explained, we are going to talk about entrepreneurs, but what kind of immigration programs that are we going to talk about?
The first season is dedicated to what we call Canadian entrepreneur programs. So they are actually people that do business and want to come to do business in Canada. Which programs allow those people to come to Canada through a business project? There is currently about 10 to 15 programs that allow that. Comes to Canada and start your own business. Different province, federal government, we will try to make the cleanup between all those programs and what's the advantage of one or the other. At the same time, we will, because some are repetitive from one province to another province, they copy each other, right? So we will also talk about the different province of Canada, because it starts with where do you want to live? And it goes back to the title of this podcast, The Moving Project. We need to understand that people that listen to us are people that will be moving with their family, moving their assets, moving their capital to start a new life. And that's fundamental in the way that we need to approach this. We need to talk to the right people that have this willingness to leave where they live in order to start a new life in Canada. And we all know Canada have amazing opportunities in terms of setting up with their family, because this is the attractiveness of Canada. So that's the objective of this podcast as well.
That is very beautifully said. Canada, land of opportunities. Always has been, always will be. And it's very nice of you to say all of this. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time today to speak with us about the reasons behind the Moving Project. I'm really excited to be working alongside all of you guys into the first season. Unfortunately, that is all for us today, but we'll see each other next week for the second episode, where we'll be discussing with Michael Charette about his career and his path. That being said, have a great week and see you next time.